Civic Action is brought to you with the support of the Aesthetics Institute of Boston. More information can be found at aestheticinstituteofboston.com.
And welcome to Civic Action. This is Jackie Morrissey, and I'm very, very fortunate to have Earl Sholley here, who's a candidate for Congress in this district. And I appreciate you coming by, sir.
My pleasure, Jack.
I hope you win.
Thank you, sir.
Believe me, I think this is the most important congressional fight in the whole country. I really mean that.
And a lot of other people do.
There's only one other congressman in the state that I hope gets elected, that Lynch guy. At least he stood up a little bit.
That's right.
But we have 10 congressmen in this state. How many do we have, 10?
We have 10, and this census we're going to lose one, so in 2012 we'll be down to 9.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you're running in the 10th?
4th Congressional District,
4th Congressional District,
That's right.
Running against Barney Frank, who's been had 15 terms.
That's right. He's failed on so many issues. He's failed on housing.
Yeah.
He's failed on banking. He's failed on keeping our kids safe. He's failed on protecting Americans. He's failed on health care. Everything you look at, Jackie, he's failed. He's failed on jobs. He's failed on the fishermen. Many of them are going out of business.
How does he get elected?
You tell me. I have no idea.
I mean,
he lives a charmed life, I guess.
Yeah, charmed. I don't know how charmed it is, but he's living, and I can't understand it. He doesn't look good these days, and he troubles me as a constituent of this district and this state, because I know a lot of things he's really upsetting me with. I'm going to hit on one, and I want everybody to know about it, is that Amber Alert. I mean, I can't believe that he was one of 25 congressional leaders that voted against it. I can't understand that for the life of me.
That is quite amazing. It's been a very effective law. It was passed in 2003. We passed it here in Massachusetts in 2004. It was just activated a few weeks ago, Jackie. They recovered the child safely. It's been activated, I think, 13 times in Massachusetts. In all the cases, they've recovered the kidnapped children. And in fact, in the Senate, the vote was 98-0. Ted Kennedy voted for it. In the House, it was 400-25. There were 25 people who voted against it. It really suggested to people that Barney Frank was more concerned. There was an amendment attached to the bill that would have provided stricter penalties for pedophiles and child pornographers, and Mr. Frank objected to that. So it suggests that he's against the stricter penalties.
It suggests to me there's something wrong with this man, really.
Well, he's out of touch with his constituents, absolutely.
And any family man, anybody with children could vote. Could possibly vote for him. It's just it's unbelievable.
Well, he constantly votes against anything that keeps children safe, anything that keeps Americans safe, and his excuse is civil rights. He's protecting people's civil rights. He votes against the Boy Scouts. He's the only member of Congress who votes against the Boy Scouts 100%. 100%. He votes against the Boy Scouts. One of the best organizations in this country that help many of our youth, trains them, and they become outstanding citizens in their communities, and inculcates tremendous values in our children and our youth. And Barney Frank votes against them 100% of the time.
But Earl, do you realize who you're running against? Do you realize the strength that he has in the media? Do you realize that you're going to? How are you going to run against a guy?
Well,
15-term congressman that has the backing of all the local newspapers, the media. How do you run against a guy like that?
Well, you run 724. That's how you have to do it. It helps, I suppose, to use smoke and mirrors. But we're hoping to raise some money. Look at Scott Brown. He was in that race against Martha Coakley. He was 30 points behind. Everybody wrote him off. Nobody thought he had a chance. Well, I thought he had a chance. In fact, I endorsed him well over a month before he even decided to run for the seat.
Really?
And look what happened. 3 weeks before, he started gaining some ground. She was a poor candidate. Stephen Lynch could have been in that race, but they didn't want to support him. And so the Democrats, I think, shot themselves in the foot, and she ran a poor campaign. But once he started getting some traction and he got on Laura Ingraham, They did that money bomb, raised over $1 million, and after that, the money just rolled in.
Well, Bonnie's not going to have any problem raising money.
Well, I'll tell you, for the very first time, he's sending out solicitations trying to raise money.
He's got $1 million in his kitty right now.
Oh, I know, but he's one of the big, he's a chairman. He's, one of the leaders of the Progressive Caucus and leaders of the Democratic Party. So they expect him to donate a lot of that money to the DNC. So he's a little concerned that he's going to have some competition this time, and that people are looking at things differently. I think America has awakened. You know, what happened here in Massachusetts was a true miracle. Yeah. If you didn't believe in political miracles before January 19th, you should believe in them now. And it's really, I think, given a resurgence and a certain amount of pride to Republicans around the state. They're no longer timid or embarrassed to call themselves Republicans. I've talked to Democrats who are making the switch. And like Scott Brown said, it's not the it's not a Democratic seat, it's not a Republican seat, it's the people's seat. And I think what happened here in Massachusetts is just a continuation of what happened in New Jersey and Virginia.
All right, hold it. We got a caller already. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, I just wanted to make a comment. Barney Frank's voting record, he voted constantly against veterans until he ran against Margaret Heckler, who was considered the veteran's friend. So I just wanted to say, any time he votes for veterans, I don't think it's sincere. I don't think he really respects the men who have sacrificed for this country. And I just wanted to say that, and maybe you'd like to say something else on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us. I am a veteran. I served in the U.S. military. I served in the Army. I was a tank commander, assistant armor instructor at Fort Knox, Kentucky. And I have a father who served in the military at the age of 16. He fought in World War II. He was a CB, and both of my brother and my mother both worked for the U.S. Army, 33 years and 31 years. And I take pride in my military service. I take pride in my country. And when I'm elected, I will be a sincere friend of veterans around the 4th Congressional District and around this great country.
Well, okay, to get back to the turf, your problem is going to be Brookline and Newton.
That's true.
Yeah. Now, what are you going to do in Brookline and Newton? Now, I don't know what I know what the situation is in Newton as far as Barney Frank is concerned, and I'll tell you. And I know the constituency. It's amazing. It's amazing that they allowed this man to represent them, because he gives off such a bad stigma of what most people in this Newton and Brookline are about.
Barney Frank is the poster boy for big government, Jackie. He's symbolic of everything that's wrong with Washington. Arrogance, he's surly, he's rude to people, he's condescending. I mean, look at some of the town hall meetings that he had. He referred to the one woman, he said, "I don't know what planet you live on, ma'am." And, you know, talking to you would be like talking to my dining room table. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. I've talked to people who've come up to him and said, "Oh, Chairman Frank, Congressman Frank, you know, I'm from your district, you know, or I'm from Massachusetts," and he's just looked at them, turned around, and walked away. Didn't even say a word. I've heard people tell me that, but yet he's great on constituent services.
That's
you know, that's his